What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name's Cameron, and today we are live. Whether you're watching this right now with us in the live chat or catching the replay, this is a live video, so I will interact with the chat as we go through here. But the theme of today's video, the tasting escapade we're about to go on together, is something that I like to do every year. I like to do this for Elijah Craig barrel proofs. I like to do this for Larceny barrel proofs. Although this year I don't even have batch B or C at this point. I haven't seen them, and I don't want to pay secondary for those. And I also try to do this for stags every year, and that is kind of a comprehensive blind tasting, mixing these things up just to determine, which batch is my favorite. I've had a couple surprises over the years, just as far as like random Elijah Craig barrel proofs winning out over things that you would never expect. And so I like doing these kind of more focused tastings on Tuesday or Wednesday nights before the junkies, before Mash and Drum, before other people go live. It's kind of fun to slip one of these in for 20, 30 minutes, get you guys on your way to the other streams, to dinner time, all that kind of stuff. So let me know in the live chat if you guys are going to sip along with me at any point, especially if you've got these batches ready to go. Now, because this is just going to be a 3-pour tasting, I'm not going to show you note cards ahead of time of which one's which. We're just going to all find out together at the end of this. It's a little inconvenient, but it's the best way to do these, I think. So I'm not holding the cards up like I do on my regular Thursday night live streams. So hit that like button if you're just now jumping in. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. We actually just hit 25,000 subscribers a day or two ago. So that's a pretty big milestone for the channel. Really excited about that. Half of those are just from a YouTube short that has 17 million views that is so silly and I would never expect, but you take it when you can get it. And so we hit 25K subs, which is again a really great milestone for the channel. Will we ever hit 50? Probably not, but a man can dream, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm starting off with a sip of a Heaven Hill product. This is a single barrel. Well, I should probably say Schmev and Schmill because unconfirmed sources, right? But it's a River Roots single barrel that we picked called Cafe Cadence. It's 110 proof. It's 11 years old, so it's kind of like a nice little warm-up pour to get into these. So that's what I've got my palate set with right now. I find that having similar lesser age, lesser proof type things moving into a tasting like this is a smart thing to do. You don't want to overshoot proof, overshoot age, and then come back down because then everything tastes bad. So cheers. Let me know if you guys are sipping on anything right now. And if you're catching the replay, let me know if you have a favorite batch of the year. I think a lot of people are going to say B525. I haven't reviewed that batch yet. I did just review C925. That review came out yesterday, and I thought it was pretty abysmal, if I'm being honest with you. So here's the way I'm going to do it. The batches are already poured out. They've already been mixed up. They're labeled on the bottom. But just so you believe me, I always like to do this. I'm going to kind of close my eyes. I'm going to throw in a fourth glass. So if you think that I know which one's which, I definitely don't when I put a fourth glass in the mix. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut my eyes, mix these up a little bit. Give them a little swirl here and open my eyes, move the empty glass over. We're gonna start from your left to right. I'll sticker these just so I know. Glass A. We're gonna call it glass 1 because we have batch A, batch B, batch C. So we've got glass 1, glass 2, and glass 3. And now we are into the blind tasting, and I promise I'm going to look at the live chat now. So let's start with the first blind batch of 2025. Okay, so on the nose, I get a little waxiness here. It's like a waxy, peanutty kind of note. I don't dislike the waxiness. I think the waxiness adds an interesting dimension to this. Justin, what's up, man? Justin, I need to call you. I've been swamped, dude, with the rehearsal I had this morning. I've been stressed about that rehearsal for 5 or 6 days, and I have completely gone into my shell and not talked to anybody. I just haven't picked up my phone, so I apologize, dude. Justin says, I think C925 is the worst since they dropped the age statement. I think A124 is probably the worst for me, and then that's probably second worst. A124 I thought was so bad. It was the real grassy batch. All right, so glass 1 here. Like I said, I got that waxy kind of peanut note. As I go back to it, it's really getting a lot of menthol for me. So There is some cinnamon here. There's going to be baking spice. There's going to be cinnamon in all of these. I think C925 may or may not stand out with that, but I'm not really trying to guess which one's which because you can get yourself twisted around by doing that. This one has a note that the old Overholt 10-year cask strength rye from 2 years ago. It has like a mulchy note to it. It's a little bit mulchy on the nose. All right, so before I sip it, I'm just going to go down the line and nose the other two. Try to get some first impressions. That one was not offensive, but it didn't stand out in a particularly positive way, I would say. Randall says, enjoyed the B525 better than A and C. C924 was good too. C924, to me, felt a little bit like a better version of this year's C925. It was still really nutty and really peanut buttery, you know, like I remember it had a lot of that to it, but I think C925 this year is just like a much worse version of that profile. All right, glass 2 in a side-by-side. Okay. Glass 2 is a little bit more like milk chocolate going on here, and again, this could just be because we're comparing. I may never actually get milk chocolate on that in isolation. But in the comparison, it's a little bit chocolatey. And as I go back to the first glass, that one's starting to feel a little bit astringent. A little bit of like almost like, you know, like not lemon pledge, but like an orange kind of cleaner. It's almost got an orange cleaner note to that first one. And then, again, the second glass, a little bit more milk chocolate. Let's go to the third glass. Okay, the third glass is... this is just cinnamon. This is just a cinnamon bomb. All right, so I'm kind of in a toss-up between the first two glasses as far as like which one I like the best on the nose. Glass 3, that's my last place on the nose. It reminds me of a really bad Rare Character KOA. Like it's got all that cinnamon to it. Nothing else going on there though. So let's now go back to glass 1. We're gonna get these on the palate now. What's up, Jeremy? Good to see you, man. All right, glass 1 on the palate. All right. Glass 1's pretty good. I mean, and when I say pretty good, I'm really kind of talking about, like put that in context, I'm talking about modern day Elijah Craig barrel proof batches. Pretty good for that, you know, like a low 80s kind of score in my playbook, you know, whatever. Yeah, what I'm getting right now, like I said that the second glass was a little more milk chocolate, and as I came back to this first one, which I just tasted, it became a little more astringent on the nose. That astringency's not really there on the palate, and so that's a good thing for me. I think I'm getting like kind of a buttercream type profile on this. This is the one that I said had a little bit of that waxiness to it. I do think that carried through as well. That kind of blends in with the buttercream on the palate. I'll do one more sip. In some ways, that kind of like light creaminess, again, waxy is a thing I'm going to keep coming back to. That actually it's almost a little Nutter Butter like. It reminds me of the Penelope 13 year, the founders from this year. Now, I don't know that this is as good as that, but it's got that lighter, sweeter, like, you know, a little bit more of an airy sweetness to that Heaven Hill profile. Jolly Old St. Nick says, pretty interesting because SLB, It's Bourbon Night, and a few others widely praise C925. You know, I would debate them on that in a friendly way. You know, we all have different palates, and I'm not going to say, oh, those guys are idiots. No, but I would happily, what I would do is I would put that in a blind with other things for them and see if it came out. And also, like, their preferences, they might like that profile, but in order to be consistent, I think, they would also have to like boogers, because I think it really tastes like boogers. Boogers. It almost sounded like I said boogers. All right, let's go to glass 2 now. So yeah, still a little bit more of that chocolate on the nose. But it's interesting. I thought that one was astringent. Now I go to this one on the nose. Now this is getting a little bit of a sharpness to it, like a little sharp, peppery, like white peppery ethanol sharpness. All right, let's taste it. I think it's a pretty easy decision between these two. The nose was a toss-up. I'm going to double check my work, but I think the palate goes to Glass A over Glass B. This one on Glass B, it felt like there was not as much sweetness. It was more spice-driven without as much concentration behind the spice of just other flavors. A really, on the palate, had a lot going on there. A lot of sweetness. Just double check. Yeah, the nose is coming into focus now too. One more sip of Glass 2, or B. Sean, I've settled on New Riff Winter Whiskey. I've never had one of those, Sean. How is it? Sipping ECBP I got from the UDO Bourbon Experience at Heaven Hill earlier this year. Was it the rye or was it a bourbon? And if it's a bourbon, what are the stats on it? Because I only know the stats on the 132 proof rye that they've been pouring. Yeah. Carter, what does astringent on the nose mean? Yeah, it's like more of an ethanol. It's like fruit skin, fruit rind, something like that, where you've got a little bit of that bitterness combining with ethanol. And I think usually it translates to the palate, but in this case it didn't. So maybe I shouldn't use the word astringent, since that would be more of a taste experience than a nose experience. But that's kind of what I mean, though. It has that like ethanol, sour, bitter fruit skin thing. All right, let's go to Glass 3, which I said was just cinnamon. Yeah, there's a case to be made for this profile on the nose. I'm not the person for this profile. There's a case to be made if you just want to drink a cinnamon stick, or at least smell one so far. We'll drink it right now. Here we go. It's so dry. It is intense though. Listen, it's a big whiskey. It's a gripping kind of palate, you know? I hate to, like, I really, this is not my profile, but there is something about the drinking experience, and it's because the proof is higher. You know, it's hard to not guess that that's the C batch from this year, given the cinnamon stick thing. But it might actually be winning for me over this second glass. I don't know. I'm going to go back through. I mean, I still think my favorite far and away is Glass 1, especially on the palate. I just think that sweetness is great. And yeah, I do like that waxy buttercream thing on the first glass is just doing it for me. I'm going to go back and taste Glass 2. Let me check in on this one. You ever swallow wrong? I'm going to say this, it's going to get clipped. When it hits the back of your throat the wrong way, it makes your eyes water. And I know that's going to go in a Matt Madness clip in a future year, but that just happened. So you can't really get a read on a whiskey if it does that to you. Pause. There you go. Cinnamon, like purple top cinnamon? No, purple top cinnamon to me comes off a little bit brighter. This cinnamon that I'm getting on the third glass is, like, the best way to equate it is like it's straight up cinnamon stick. And if that doesn't track for you as far as like the aroma that I'm getting, then I would say if you've ever had a Rare Character KOA, it has that same kind of cinnamon, but the KOAs are better than this. Excuse me. Okay, let's get back into this now. I'm going to retaste this second glass. That's just really good. It reminds me of this. It reminds me of what I warmed up with, the Cafe Cadence. It's not as sweet and it's a little higher proof, but it's just got that, like, that relaxed light sweetness that you can get on some Heaven Hill stuff. It's not oaky. It's a lighter sweetness. It's very middle of the road for me. Let me go back to Glass 1. Yeah, I just like this. This is great. So let's talk about something. It's going to be a knock for me on glass one. This is definitely my favorite of the flight. Easy win. But the knock on this is that the amount of buttercream, waxy sweetness that I'm getting on it makes it feel young. It makes it feel like it's almost the same thing I'm getting this year on Stag 25A. You get this like youthful honey sweetness on Stag 25A. I can't stand it. I think it's just, I think it's awful, actually, that particular note. I get a little bit of that effect in here where it's so damn sweet that I feel like it's drinking young. That said, it does have the most going on for me. I love the fact that the sweetness and the proof and the age and everything is really balanced in this one. And so I think that's the winner. The question now is what's going to be in second place? Is it going to be the cinnamon bomb, or is it going to be kind of the middle of the road, daily driver kind of experience, inoffensive, not a standout in any way, positive or negative. So let's do glass two one more time. Yeah, there's no bloom on glass two. It hits your palate and it starts to die. It never ramps up before it starts to go down. And that does bother me with, for a drinking experience of an Elijah Craig barrel proof, you kind of want there to be a little development on the palate, not just a constant decrescendo. You want it to kind of have a little roller coaster ride first. All right. But not bad. Totally inoffensive. Let's go to glass three. It's so ethanol and so cinnamon. Man. It's like, what do you value? What do you value? Do you value flavor profile and balance, or do you value just something that has that intense drinking experience? The finish on this is so long. I'll tell you what. This third glass, the only time I'm ever reaching for this bottle is if I'm at a house party, or in a very crowded bar. Like where there would need to be a lot of people around. It would have to be really loud and overwhelming. And I just want a whiskey that, like, when I take a sip, it's going to get my attention and pull me out of whatever's going on around me. And the second glass, I would reach for this way more often, because if I'm at home, if I'm with a friend or two, if I'm with Sarah, and I just want to pull something down and not really think about it, I'm going to pour that. So they're two complete, these are about as opposite as you could get. So I'm going to just go 1, 2, 3 as my order. Both of these are kind of unimpressive, just overall, and I think it's a pretty big disparity getting up to glass one, whatever this is. I think this is a really great whiskey, especially for modern day Elijah Craig barrel proof. It's so sweet. It's like sickly sweet on the palate. So let's see what's in last place. This is probably C925. If it's not, that would be crazy. It is C925 and last. Where is C925? Is it here? No. C925, dude, the finish on glass one, the winner, it's actually getting a lot of oak in the finish. Yeah, I like that. C925, 129 proof, 9 years, 1 month. Last place, but strangely not an easy last place, because the other one that it's up against here for second was pretty anticlimactic. So it's like, I went with the one that I would reach for more often. The Cinnamon Bomb C925, I just don't think I'm ever going to reach for that bottle. So in second place, okay, so everybody's right. A125 is in second place. This is A125. And I think the proof didn't do this any favors. I actually don't know what the proof of B batch is. Okay, this does track then. The proof on the A batch, 118.2. So I actually think that might be the lowest proof that we've seen. Age statement, 10 years, 7 months. So when I did review this, I think I found it in a blind, and I think I gave it a score in the low 80s, and I think that's right for this. It's like, it kind of does everything at a slightly above average, you know, in a slightly above average way. There's nothing else to it than that. There's just, yeah, it's completely forgettable whiskey. So that means winning this is the B batch. And when I first tasted this B batch, I thought there was something about it that felt a little bit incomplete. And I never reviewed it just because, you know, the channel always goes up and down on the reviews and stuff with the frequency. So I never ended up reviewing it. I knew that it was really sweet. I did not actually know how it was going to stack up in here because I don't think I ever really did a deep dive comparing it to the A batch earlier in the year. So I wasn't sure, but this does have a lot of sweetness. But the complaint that I initially had about it was that it felt incomplete when I tasted it unblind months ago. In this flight, it feels the most complete very easily. The sweetness is great, but like I said, the one complaint about the sweetness is that the sweetness is so intense that it makes it feel younger. It makes it feel like the buttercreamy, waxy, even like honeyed kind of sweetness that you're getting out of this makes the whiskey feel young. And it's not that young. No, it's 11 and a half years old. Now, I think that age actually comes through not on the nose and not on the like front to mid. The finish is where you get that age. Because when I took that last sip, the front is just all sweet. It's like frosting. It's like birthday cake ice cream. Fun dip. You know, it's all of those extremely sweet notes. It's almost like if you took light whiskey sweetness and put it into a bourbon. Then, as it kind of develops, get into the finish, it's a lot of like rich sweet oak. It's almost like taffy. It almost feels like it has like a taffy kind of thing going on or something. Taffy's not the right word. Some kind of like caramel thing. Real thick caramel, I guess, with 3 C's. So there you go. B batch for me is the best. Are any of these worth picking up this year? Based on this tasting right now, I would just, if you already have the A batch, whatever. If you see the A batch on a shelf, I'm leaving it on the shelf. If you see the C batch on a shelf, unless you want like a poor man's rare character KOA or a Booker substitute, which is kind of what it does for me. If you want that, then pick up that C batch. If you don't want that, pass. I think the B batch is worth picking up. $70, $75. I think it's worth the pickup. There you go. I don't think this order of this flight is a situational thing. I think I would pick this same order 10 out of 10 times. I think the profiles are so different, so clear. I guess Siri thinks I'm talking to it. Adam, why are you texting me, dude? 12 minutes ago. Oh, I thought it was about this. All right, let's see what the chat says before we log off here. Please hit that like button on your way out, guys. Check out the Patreon as well. Doing some more stuff over there. Some reviews just for Patreon. Kind of back in action on everything right now, and yeah, we're getting ready to move here, so I'm batch filming a bunch of stuff. It's trying to hold me over for the next 3 or 4 weeks while the move happens. And then I'm sure once we get into the new place, it'll be several weeks of the set changing and developing because I can't get everything set perfectly before I start filming again over there. I will be live tomorrow night unless for some reason I'm not, if something happens, but I should be live tomorrow night with a late stream. It would start at 10 p.m. because I've got rehearsal till 9:30. Playing Jaws with the movie this week, so that's what we're doing. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. See you next year. Cheers, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section if you have a favorite batch of this year. And I'll see you guys next time here on Drums and Drams. Cheers.